Hey there, Mr. Dietzen here. I wanted to give us a short introduction into fifth grade history. While I do not teach a specific homeroom for history, I do plan all of our history lessons. And there are chances throughout the year if Mr. Jimenez or Mrs. Kaltoff or Miss Dorsley need to step out, I might come in and help cover the afternoon. So anyone might be able to have a chance to have me for history and or literature at some point during the year. I just wanted to go over our curriculum and our supplies and how they're used and how we organize history. So first, let's talk about the curriculum. We have several different units throughout this year in the core knowledge history curriculum. So our first unit, here's the book, is on world lakes. Second unit is on the Maya, Aztec, and Inca civilizations in Central and South America. Our next book is pretty thick. It's actually 3 units that we'll be spreading out over. We'll have the Renaissance, the Reformation, and the Golden Age of England. From there, we'll be talking about the Age of Exploration. And then we'll finish off first semester talking about czars and shoguns, early Russia and feudal Japan. Right? Once we start back up in the second semester, we'll start with a unit on the geography of the United States, where we'll have to memorize all the states and all their capitals. Right? Then we'll talk about westward expansion before the Civil War. So it's like Lewis and Clark and the pioneers and the foundations of Texas, stuff like that. Our biggest unit, which will take up most of the fourth quarter, is the Civil War. It's 24 chapters, a lot to cover in there. My favorite unit for sure. And we'll be memorizing the Gettysburg Address during that time as well. Our final 2 units are in this book, Native Americans and Westward Expansion, Cultures and Conflicts, talking about things like the Wild West and the Native American Wars after the Civil War. And so that's how we'll finish out the year. In history, you'll need only a couple different supplies. We have a yellow folder to keep all of our stuff in. And what's nice is most of these books, except for maybe the 2 thick ones, can fit in here easily so you don't lose it. But then we'll also be getting a packet for each unit. All right, so here's our first packet, and everyone will have received this. In this packet, we have several different things. It's almost like you got a culmination of homework and worksheets and study guides and notes and all sorts of things. So if we turn to the inside, we have, on the inside page, we have our vocabulary. Then over here we have our terms. That's your notes section. That's where you'll be studying those notes in preparation for a test. It's a couple different pages of that. Then we have questions, all right? And those are what you'll be reading in the book and then answering those questions for homework. Usually there's only 3, maybe 4 questions. And we'll have history homework most nights, but not every night. Then from there, we have like different maps and other worksheets specifically for this unit. All right, a table or a chart to fill out. All right, and then a map at the end as well of where the different lakes are located. All right, hold on to this for the entire unit. We'll be checking it periodically to make sure you're keeping up with your notes, to make sure you're doing your homework, things like that. And that's where you'll also be studying your vocabulary or your terms or anything like that that we'll need to cover in preparation for either a quiz or a test. Generally with quizzes and tests, quizzes are usually matching. Tests have a matching section, they have a vocabulary section, a true-false section, and then a short answer section, which is like a short paragraph to answer a question. The only exceptions to that, I think, would be our geography units, the lakes and the states and capitals, where you just, memorizing information and repeating it to us. Other than that, there aren't many other forms you might receive. I think there's only 2 exceptions, really. The first is that you might get a form we like to do at the end of a unit or at the end of like a quiz. If it's a long unit, we'll do a writing assignment, a paragraph on an important person or event or movement, something during that time period that we had covered. And so that's a separate sheet you'll get. And then each semester we will have a timeline to help us keep track of what's going on. So what's nice is first semester, although there's different things we study, they all fit into a specific time period. And same with when we get to the second semester, it's all U.S. history from about 1800 until 1870. And so we want to keep track, where are all these events occurring? How do they measure up and line up with each other? Other than that, that's pretty much it for history. What's nice is the way we have it set up is even if you're going to be online for longer than the initial few weeks of school, you'll still be getting a lot of the same stuff. You might not necessarily be having a teacher reading it off to you, but there will be all of the resources you will need available. So again, history questions, you can definitely reach out to me. I'd say your first point of contact, though, is your homeroom teacher, but I can definitely help with clarifying, especially when we're online. So that's it for history. Tomorrow's lesson will go into more detail as to what is history, why do we study it, what is its purpose, right? We can see more explicit and clear reasons for studying something like science or math or grammar because of its application, but history might not necessarily have that initially at first glance. But we'll get into more of that tomorrow. So looking forward to it. All right.